So oil prices edged higher today on the prospects for stronger global economic growth. The International Monetary Fund said in its latest World Economic Outlook report that unprecedented public spending to fight COVID-19 would push global growth to 6% this year, a rate not seen since the 1970s. But the rebound will be far from even, and for some, there might be permanent scarring. Let's take a look.
If all goes according to plan, it would be the fastest expansion of the global economy since the IMF started tracking growth in 1980. The fund says such an optimistic forecast is only possible thanks to a rapid fiscal response to the pandemic. But there's no doubt some sectors have suffered irreparable damage.
Now, because the crisis has accelerated the transformative forces of digitalization and automation, many of the jobs lost are unlikely to return, requiring worker reallocation across sectors, which unfortunately often comes with severe earning penalties. Swift policy action worldwide, including $16 trillion in fiscal support, prevented far worse outcomes.
The IMF predicts the rollout of COVID-19 vaccinations and huge sums of government aid will trigger a powerful rebound from the pandemic recession. But the fund's chief economist warned the recovery would be unequal, with already poor countries falling further behind.
Without additional effort to give all people a fair shot, cross-country gaps in living standards could widen significantly.
The IMF predicts the global rebound will gradually lose momentum and return to pre-COVID levels of just above 3% annual growth. Countries will once again have to deal with the same obstacles they faced before the pandemic, including ageing workforces in most rich countries, as well as in China.
Well, despite its ageing workforce, there's certainly one country that is on a rapid expansion path, and that is China. Over the next 5 years, the world's second biggest economy is expected to account for more than a fifth of total global growth. The US, buoyed by a huge spending program, is also firmly on the up. Emerging Asian economies like India are rising rapidly too. Now, Europe's biggest economies, on the other hand, Germany, France and the United Kingdom, are lagging rather far behind in comparison. So are we seeing an ever-widening divide between Asia and Europe? To find out more about that, I'm joined now by Nidhi Rai. She's a journalist based in Mumbai, and we are also joined by our financial correspondent, Chelsea Delaney in Frankfurt. Hello to both of you, and I would like to start with you, Nidhi, because India is mentioned by the IMF as one of the strong Asian economies. But where is all this growth actually coming from?
So interestingly, today the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, which is the apex banking body in the country, has also come out with their monetary policy review, in which the governor has said that even though the economy is facing some challenges because of the second wave of coronavirus, still the rural demand is looking very, very buoyant, and the rural demand is looking very strong. And the agriculture output and the way the rural market are working, they are helping the urban market, and therefore some green shoots are coming from there. And obviously that it's too early to comment on the fact that how the second wave is going to impact the economy. So primarily the rural demand is pushing the economy, and obviously people are also keeping some hopes high that there will not be a complete lockdown and the businesses will not be completely shut.
OK, so this is what's happening right now. The forecast, of course, was looking at a more longer term to 2026 and giving India the thumbs up there, unlike Europe, Chelsea. When you think about it, the US and Europe actually accounted for about half of global growth back in the 1980s. Combined, they're now responsible for about 30% growth, but the outlook for Europe is pretty dismal. What's going wrong?
Well, these are changes that have been, to some degree, expected for decades now. China taking over as the world's largest economy, that's been expected for quite a long time. And part of this is just population trends. China has 4 times the population of the United States, double that of Europe. And as China, but also economies like India, industrialize more, as they get wealthier, they come to make up a bigger part of the economy. But the pandemic has certainly accelerated this shift in global power, because China has recovered so much more quickly than